So what is the number one thing that launched my business? Now, I was reading this book by Daymond John. It turns out what helped him launch his business was also the same thing that helped me launch mine. And I didn't know this, but I'm going to tell you a little bit of a personal story, and it's called The Power of Broke. I've told you two other stories in the past through previous videos, stuff that helped me get motivated to start my businesses, right? One was, getting sick and dumped at the same time. Number two was listening to a Grant Cardone podcast about how to make more money, and how making more money is better than settling for an average job and hopefully building up your wealth over time. So here's the third thing. I'm going to give you an example here. I'll tell you Daymond John's story first. How about that? So Daymond John, he grew up in a poor, I think it was a single parent household where just his mom was there. I may be wrong on that, but his family was completely broke. In fact, his mom took out an $80,000 loan just so that they could survive for a few years, him and his siblings. And so what the mom was doing was betting that one of her children would become successful and be able to help support everyone. Turns out that was a good thing to do, and I don't recommend that. So Daymond John, his family was completely broke. He was a teenager, young adult, and he was flat out broke. And I'm talking about broke. He had absolutely no money. And so that was his motivation to start his own business. He started his own clothing line and started selling, hats and t-shirts, he was going around on the streets, just selling stuff, going to concerts, whatever. He was just trying to sell anything to feed himself. That's what he was doing. Now, that is what eventually became his clothing line. I think it's FUBU. So by him having that hunger, right? That insecurity in your brain, like if you don't make any money in the next few days, you might not be able to eat. You may have to make a sacrifice in your life. Okay, you may have your mom's house repossessed if you don't make any money. That was the hunger in his brain when he started this. So that is a little bit similar to my story, except, we weren't flat out broke by any means. And I wasn't, as broke as Daymond John. Don't get me wrong here. But I'll tell you my story. So we're going to go back, about a year ago? And my girlfriend asked me to go to a hockey game. So her family, by the way, so she has siblings. They're all older. My girlfriend's older than me. So she had an extra year of work, so she was able to pay for it, obviously. And then her siblings are 26 and 30 years old. And pretty much everyone in her family is much older than me. Like I'm the young person there. I was fresh out of university. Apart from my passive income, I didn't really work very much, so I didn't have a lot saved up. And I remember saying, I can't pay for this. I mean, I had $1,000 or $2,000 saved up, but that was for living expenses. I'm not allowed to spend. The tickets were $240. They were very nice tickets that her family was able to go to, and yet I couldn't come up with that. I couldn't spend that much money on a one-off experience. I remember being on the phone with her, and then she's like, "Okay, look, I can pay for you as long as you pay me back in the next month or two." And I was like, that's not happening. There's under no circumstances I'm taking essentially a loan to go to a hockey game from my girlfriend. That's not possible. And so this was the very, very last straw for me to start making more money. I initially actually just said that no, I'm not going unless I make enough money to pay for it. So that was kind of the thing. I flat out said no. That was the first option. I'm not going because I don't want to come up with $240. I shouldn't say that. I did want to come up with $240. I mean, if I didn't, I'm not going. That's what I meant. So anyways, that very night, that fateful night, is when I started getting into affiliate marketing for real estate, YouTube, online courses. All that happened same night. And I remember this. I remember working so hard. It took, oh my God. So I'm going to tell you the story. So for about a week, all I did was work. I didn't talk to anyone, didn't see anyone. All I did was work and learn how to do some affiliate marketing, some online sales, create a marketing campaign for real estate, all that kinds of stuff, right? And so get this. After that 1 week, I was just expecting to make a $240 profit. Guess how much I made? In the first week, I made about $1,400. And I remember on the first day, I had made enough money to pay for the tickets in one day. One day. And I was still working at the time full time. And so I had that money too, which I could save up. But then eventually like that turned into these businesses. So those 4 things turned into what I'm doing now. And seriously, like if her family didn't invite me to go to that game, I would still be doing my hour-and-a-half commute every day to Toronto. By the way, I'm making a different video on this. The 9-to-5 job wasn't really a thing. It's something that people don't really think about, but the 9-to-5 job has only been a thing for about 100 years. Think about that. Before Henry Ford came in with the factory, there weren't 9-to-5 jobs. Now, saying that there was like still employees, right? Like there was, like maids and nurses and doctors, all that kind of stuff, right? And there's, like cleaning people and gardeners, and all those things existed, hundreds of years ago, but they weren't the typical 9-to-5 that we see today. At least not in the mass quantities that we see today. Like 80%, if not, I think it's 80 to 85%, or is it 90%? Somewhere between 80 and 90% of people are working in a 9-to-5. That's just in the workforce, I mean. Because a large portion of the population, half the population isn't even in the workforce right now, which is ridiculous. But anyways, I would just like to say like that, the hockey ticket thing. Think about that. I didn't have enough money to pay $240 to go to a hockey game. And by the way, the reason why they thought it was super important for me to go was because like they had never been. They had never been to a game. They come from a small town, all of them. But they were at a stage where they had all been in the workforce for like 1 or I guess 2 to like 10 years. And I hadn't been in the workforce really. Like I had a corporate job when I was like 17 to 19, 20 years old, or 18 to 20 years old. And but apart from that, like I hadn't really been fully in the workforce. I'd been part-time with my side businesses, which were doing well in stocks, doing well in those. But I wasn't making like 50 grand a year on the side in university like full-time employees would make. So it felt a little bit kind of like unfair. Like, yeah, you guys have $240 saved up because you guys are fucking working every day. You guys have been working every day for like way more than me, 5 years, 10 years. So, but I'm just so glad that happened. It was like that one night when I got that call, that was the spark. That was the spark for me to launch everything, to really get going. Like I'd launched stuff before, but like I was still picking up side passive income, which was good, but it wasn't enough for me to live comfortably, I guess I would say. And man, I know this is kind of just on a personal level, like that's, looking back on that, like there's these key moments in your life that will change them forever. For a lot of the times, like people remember the first time they saw their husband or wife, or the first time they met whatever, girlfriend, boyfriend, or whatever. Even if it's tragic stuff like someone dying or something, you saw that, right? And then there's key decision points in your life. And it's like the decision of where to go to university, or like the decision of not studying for a test, or the decision to break the law, the decision to have your first cigarette, the decision to drink for the first time. And everyone has those moments. Like I have a few of those moments, especially relating to relationships and stuff, like the key decision moments that could change years, if not the rest of your life. And this one was like, it was kind of out of nowhere. And it could seriously change my life forever. It probably did. So, do you guys have any of those moments in your life relating to relationships, business, investing, anything like that? I mean, if you do, let me know in the comments. Seriously, I'd like to read them. So, anyways, you're all very beautiful people. Thank you very much for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next video.